Hi everyone, welcome back. So as the title said, I'm here with some makeup products that I bought and for some reason I don't reach for. Some of them I know why I don't reach for it, but some of them I don't really know. I don't have like a specific reason. It's not like I hate it or anything like that. I just don't reach for them. I'm pretty sure if you own a lot of makeup like me, I'm pretty sure you have like, I'm pretty sure you've experienced this. Like you've bought a product and you don't reach for it. So I'm going to start off with some eyeshadow palettes. And the first palette I want to talk about is the Urban Decay The Naked Heat palette. Now this palette, when it came out, I was like, I'm not buying this palette. I have the first two naked palettes. I got the first three naked palettes. The third one, the rose gold one, I gave to my niece. And I've gotten a few other Urban Decay palettes. And I was like, I'm not going to get this palette. This is what it looks like. The brush fell out. It has the typical double-ended brushes like the Urban Decay brushes. And I can't tell you why I don't reach for this palette. It's pretty, has some nice browns, it's very warm toned, and that's me, brown and oranges. It's pretty, but I don't use it. As you can see, I swatched this in store. Let me tell you, Sephora is the devil. And I don't know what kind of sorcery they do with their lights, but it's like when you walk into Sephora, everything looks beautiful, especially like if you walk to a gondola, especially the palettes and like the highlighters, and you start swatching them. I think because everybody's hand has been in there and has like dug around like the palette or whatever the makeup is, it just looks gooey and it just looks prettier. Everything looks nice in Sephora, and a lot of impulse buying for me takes place in Sephora because I wasn't gonna get this palette. I walked by, I swatched it, and I was like, oh, and I got it. I came home. I have never swatched it again. I've never dug a brush in it. I've never used it. I just put it down. So maybe I need to bring it out of my drawer and maybe put it on my vanity, and maybe that'll make me use it. And let me, and this color here is pretty. What is this called? Oh great, I don't have my glasses. This is Low Blow. This is a very pretty color. This one right here. It is a pretty color, but I have never reached for this palette. But I'm definitely going to put it on my vanity, and I'm going to definitely try to use it. The second palette I want to talk about, and this for me still is a mystery even to myself, because just the other day I started, was like, why don't I reach for this palette? And it's the Natasha Denona Sunset palette. And if you know Natasha Denona, this is not a cheap palette. This was $80-something palette. Girl. This is what the palette looks like. It's stunning. Like, and the colors in here made me want this palette so bad. And I literally hunted this palette down because when it first came out, I couldn't get my hands on it. It was always sold out when, I had the money to purchase it. And it took me a while, but I finally got it. And I think I've used this palette twice. And the colors are very pretty. They're very pigmented. I mean, look at that. And I just don't reach for it. It's like, and this one, look at that. And it sits on my vanity with my other palettes that I use the most, and I just skip over it. It's like I'm never inclined to grab it and say I'm going to create a look with it, which is outrageous. So I'm definitely going to have to start trying to use this because I can't really find any fault with the shadows or anything like that. It's a very beautiful palette. I just don't reach for it. Another palette I'm going to talk about is from Urban Decay. Now, I know why I don't like this palette. I was so disappointed, and the packaging is so stupid. Look at the packaging. Like, ugh. Anywho, when I saw this on Trend Mood's page, because I spend way too much time on Trend Mood's page, her page is also the devil. Anyway, this is what this palette looks like. Now, my thing is, so they have like warmer tone shades on this side, and they have the cool tone shades on this side. I hate the way it's styled. The stupid mirror is in the middle. I don't get that. But to me, the shadows were so dry. And even the ones over here, because obviously I love, warmer colors, I gravitated to this side. Like I would spritz my brush with Fix Plus or whatever. And it just, I was so underwhelmed by these shadows. They never picked up. I thought they would be popping on my lid. I was thinking that these colors over here would be popping. They were not popping. They just looked regular to me. They were too dry. And I used it one time, and that was good enough for me. And so, yeah. I don't use that. I know, like, yeah. See, I can't even get it back in. I don't understand the packaging. Total waste of money. Another palette, because I don't learn my lesson. I keep buying palettes. And this one, I don't know why I don't use this one either. And this is the, what the hell is the name of this palette? It's the Pat McGrath. The Mothership Sublime, and this is the Bronze Ambition. Now, when I saw this, I was like, because I have the Mothership too, and I love that palette, and I was like, oh, I have got to have this palette. This is what it looks like. Right up my alley. Warm tones, golds, and I totally dug my finger into this one right here. So, you know, the golds and oranges and browns. And I've used this, I would say, maybe 3 times. And same reason. I just don't reach for this palette. I don't know why. It's swatched beautifully. It's very pigmented. I mean, it's Pat McGrath. I think she makes great shadows. Like I said, I own the Mothership 2 palette. This is one of the shades. Very pretty. But I do not reach for this palette. And I can't give you a reason why. Honestly, I don't know. I just don't. This also now, I'm going to have to, I'm definitely going to have to put it on my dresser. And I'm going to, because this is not on my dresser, I have to take this out, put it on my dresser, and tell myself I have to use it. It's like I'm never inclined to use this palette. I don't know why. It's beautiful. I can't find fault with it. Oh, excuse the tape on my finger. I cracked my nail in the middle, so I just don't want it snagging on anything. It's so painful until I can fix it. Last eyeshadow palette is the Jaclyn Hill times Morphe palette. This is another palette that I can't tell you why I don't reach for it. I think it's a stunning palette. I mean, I'm pretty sure all of you have seen the Jaclyn Hill palette. I'm pretty sure a lot of you own the Jaclyn Hill palette. I don't reach for it. I find myself reaching more for the 3502 palette. Like, I use that like almost every day because I like one of the shades in that palette as a crease color. I don't reach for this palette at all. And the quality of the shadows are fantastic. It's some of the best. The colors are great. I mean, look at that. But your girl, I don't reach for this either. And I have this out of my vanity because I keep telling myself I'm going to use it. And it's like every time in my head I figure, oh, I'm going to use it, I'll just find myself using like another palette. Like, I don't reach for this palette at all. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about some face palettes. And here we go again. Another expensive product that I don't use from Natasha Denona. And this is her Diamond and Blush palette. Now, total impulse buy with this palette. I don't really like this palette. I don't really like this palette. So we have cream colors on top and the powders on the bottom. I have the one where we use the contour. I do like that one. I do use that one, not as often as I thought I would. But this one, I swatched it around a couple of times. I probably used it 3 or 4 times. I mean, I'm never going to use this color right here. But I figured, okay, it's just this color right here. I figured, oh, it's just one color. I have, you know, other colors, and this is an $80-something palette. Like, I'm totally insane. And of course, impulse buy in Sephora again. I'm swatching, and here we are. The 2 pink blushes. There's a cream blush and a powder blush. I should have known that I was not going to use that because I don't really like colors like this, except if it has a lot of like maybe bling to it or sheen. like my MAC Spring Sheen or something like that. I'm not too, I don't know, I'm not impressed by the highlight colors, and yeah, it just sits on my vanity and I don't reach for it. I know you guys are probably thinking she is insane, and maybe I am insane. It's the makeup addict in me. Next palette, and this palette I don't have like a set reason, and this is the Becca, what is this called? The BLI palette. I did a review on this palette. I do like this palette, and the day I did the review, which is a few videos back, I used it, and I think I used it once after that, and then I just put it down. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with this palette. I think it's pretty. There's a blush, 2 powders. One is supposed to smooth, one is supposed to blur, and there's a bronzing color. And it's pretty. I mean, it looked nice when I used it, but like it just sits there and I haven't really used it. Next face palette I want to talk about is the Urban Decay Sin, the Afterglow palette. This was a total impulse buy. I know the exact reason I don't like this palette. It does nothing for me. I don't know what I was thinking. It does nothing for my skin tone. It's just like, blah. The highlighter over these 2 highlighters down here, it's not bad, but the rest of the stuff is like, and whatever. And I remember seeing this on Trend Mood's page. Here we go again, Trend Mood. And I went on Ulta and I bought it, and I was so excited to get on the mail. And then I got it and I swatched it, and I've never, I think I swatched it on my face one day, and I think I literally wiped it off. It looked kind of ashy. Like I said, I don't know what I was thinking when I bought this. Impulse buy. Makeup addict in me. Next palette is from, this is the Contour and Highlighter palette from the Dior Backstage collection. I did not like this collection. I did a review on this. And this one I thought I would use the most out of everything from that collection, but I don't use it. I don't like it. It's, I don't know, I'm so underwhelmed by this. It was so damn expensive. This whole freaking collection was so expensive. And meh. It just sits there. I don't use it. And of course I spent money in the whole collection, which the whole collection was over $100. I'm a lunatic. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a couple highlighters because I don't want this video to be too long, because I can go on and on with the products I bought and I've never used. And I'm going to start with this Bobbi Brown highlighter. And this is called Moon Glow. I was at the Gondola in Sephora. I swatched it and it looked so pretty. It looked so nice and yellow and whatever. And I can't tell you why I don't like this. I came home, I never used it again. Like after I swatched it in Sephora, I came home, I took it out of the box, it's sitting there. I've never used it. Next one I want to talk about is this Whisper of Guilt from MAC in this beautiful packaging. I was one of the people who were so excited for Whisper of Guilt because I'd never owned it, whatever, and I got it. As you can see, I have never used this highlighter. I'm never inclined to reach for it. I don't think it's bad. It's beautiful when you swatch it. I don't reach for it. Now I want to talk about 2 foundations. And the first one I want to talk about is the Dior Forever foundation. I bought this foundation because I saw a video with Jaclyn Hill and she loved it and she raved about it, and she still uses it with her Hourglass foundation, which I don't like either. And then another YouTuber, Makeup by Cheryl, which I love her, she loves this foundation, so I purchased it. I purchased this foundation. I know why I don't like this foundation. To me, it just like sits on my face, and I love the Dior Star foundation. It's one of my favorite foundations, but this foundation, for some reason, it does nothing for me. It doesn't have that pop, nothing. It just sits on my face. It's just like blah, it's just regular. And this is not a cheap foundation. And this is in 061, by the way. Next foundation I want to talk about is the foundation from the Dior Backstage collection. I got it. The reason I don't use this foundation, I do love the finish and stuff. Like I said, I did a review of the whole collection. It's way too dark for me, and it's the kind of dark that if I try to like make it look better by putting on maybe like more highlighter, it starts to look ashy. So since I got this, it's just been like sitting there. I don't use it. Now I want to talk about two blushes, and these are the blushes from MAC, and they are the Extra Dimension blushes. And this is what they look like. We have Hush Tone and Just a Pinch. I remember when these Extra Dimension blushes came out, I was so excited because I love MAC's Extra Dimension stuff. Love, love, love. And there's nothing wrong with these. Like, I think they're pretty. Look at this pretty color. But, and then which one did I swatch? Oh, I don't remember, but I think I swatched that one. And then we have this one. They're very pretty. I just don't reach for these blushes. I cannot tell you why. I just don't. I don't reach for them. But maybe now I will. And I want to talk about a powder that I've gotten and I don't use, and it's the Charlotte Tilbury, and this is her her Flawless Finish in powder, and I have it in the shade 03 Dark. When I first got it, I used it for like maybe 2 or 3 days. I was putting it under my eye. I never went all over my face with this powder. I think it's pretty. I just don't reach for this powder. I don't know why. And lastly, I'm going to talk about a setting spray, and this is the coconut. This is the illuminating coconut spray from Marc Jacobs. As you can see, I've owned this for like a few months now, and it's only here because I don't reach for it. I find myself, if I want a nice glow, I reach for the MAC, the Gold Light. I never reach for this setting spray, and this was a pretty penny as well. It's Marc Jacobs. It smells great. I don't know why I don't reach for it. It was okay when I sprayed it and I used it. I don't want to put it on my face right now, and let me spray a little bit on my hand. I mean, it's alright. It's nothing to really scream about or shout about or anything like that, but I don't use it. Anyway, guys, this video has been long enough, and so thank you so much for watching, and leave me a comment on the bottom of like products maybe you've bought and you haven't used, like the reason you haven't used it, if there's any reason at all. And I want to thank you guys so much for 100 subscribers, and thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe and to like this video, and I'm going to see you guys again in my next video. Bye, guys.